Success University with your host, Krystal, also known as the most famous woman in the world. In this episode, I want to talk about why it is crucial as one of your first steps in your success journey to stop putting people on a pedestal. And this might be something that you don't even notice you're doing, but it is super important to watch your language surrounding idealizing other people, because by doing that, you are devaluing yourself, and that type of mentality can stop you from taking the actions necessary to achieve your goals. And I don't just mean so this is across the board. Some people do this in romantic relationships. Some people do this in business relationships, or, just looking at other people, let's say other CEOs, other owners of companies, or, whatever industry you're in, putting the successful people in your industry on such a pedestal that you almost distance them from being a human being, to a point where you stop seeing that you could be just doing the same things that they are. So what does it actually mean to put someone on a pedestal? It means seeing them as superior, seeing them as perfect, or possessing some type of special quality that you could never possess. So watching your language surrounding this is extremely important, because, let's say just for example, that you read a story about a CEO of a corporation that's worth $1 billion, and you read about their morning routine. And you hear about it, you read about it, but instead of realizing that that is within your reach as well, and starting to implement some of those strategies into your life, you might write it off as, oh, well, I could never do that. Oh, well, I'm not a morning person. Well, I don't have time. Well, I'm just a regular person. They're a billionaire, so their life is different than mine, and on and on. And okay, yeah, their life might be different than yours, but everybody is just a human being. And I wanted to talk about this because I actually remember the day or the week that I started uncovering these hidden assumptions within myself, where I just started realizing, wow, I idealize extremely successful people in such a way that, it was unconscious, first of all, it was subconscious, so I wasn't realizing I was doing it. But it stopped me from looking at ways to build the same companies that they built, or be in the same types of industries that they're in, and taking those steps in a way that can actually succeed, and in a way that can set myself up for success. Because I used to say things like, oh, well, whatever it is. I'm a musician first and foremost, so I would do this a lot with celebrities, saying things like, well, she's so pretty and that's why she became successful. Oh, well, she inherited X, Y, and Z amount of money and that's why she's successful. Oh, well, she knew the right people at the right time, and I can never meet the right people at the right time because I have social anxiety. So I'm never going to be successful in music or entertainment because I'm just not good with people. Whatever it is, whatever thing, you're telling yourself, it's really easy to do this with celebrities, or, people with micro notoriety in their industry, to see them as something other than just a regular human being. And at the end of the day, even if someone is worth a gajillion trillion dollars, however much money they're worth, at the end of the day, they're just a person. They're just a human being. They still have to put their pant leg on one at a time. They can still only sit their ass in one chair at a time. No matter how many houses they might have, they can only be in one of them at one time, right? No matter how many cars they have, they can only drive one of them at a time. So another way to help you start valuing yourself just as much, if not more, than other people. And this isn't to say to, I'm not saying knock people down and start, saying negative things about other people. That's not the point. The point is to every single day cognitively realize that you're no different than them. Maybe their opportunities in life were different or their circumstances in life are different, but at the fundamental level, a human being is just a human being. There's negative effects that there's negative effects that may be happening because you're putting other people on a pedestal that you don't realize are happening. One of those things is pushing other people away from you that could help you, and you don't know you're doing it. So what do I mean by that? Well, I was just out with a friend, and I jokingly said, "Oh, well, I'm going to set you up on a date. Let me help you. Let me be your matchmaker." And the first things out of her mouth were negative things, saying negative things about herself. No, don't. I'm too old. Ooh, I'm too fat. Nobody wants me at this age. Whatever. And, I thought to myself, how you speak about yourself can become how other people view you when they didn't view you as that before. And those negative things that you might be saying out loud, whether you're saying them out loud or you're saying them within your own mind, you might not know this, but people pick up on that. And if you want to be surrounding yourself with smart, successful people, I'm telling you, people pick up on it. I can pick up on someone's lack of confidence within seconds. And that lack of confidence and self-degrading tone and personality and energy will push people out of your life who would otherwise love to be in your life, whether or not that is on a business or personal level. So for me personally, and this is coming from just a colleague standpoint, I don't want to be around other women who are constantly looking to me to say nice things about them when we hang out. I don't want to have to spend a lunch date convincing you that you're pretty and not fat. Like, I'm not a therapist. I'm a business coach. And, if someone hires me in that capacity, then that's a different story. But that's not currently one of my streams of income. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a therapist. I do this podcast because I like to talk about business topics, but it's not, I'm just going to put it real flat. It's annoying. It's annoying, and it's rude. Honestly, it's rude. I get it. We all sometimes are down and you need a friend to kind of boost you up. I get it. I've been there. I understand. But when you do this constantly to the people around you, you don't realize it, but you're being rude to them because now you're putting them in an awkward position to have to build you up and praise you and, it's just awkward, honestly. Like, I don't want to have to build up your own internal self-worth that you should be working on your own time. Like, whatever hangups you have, if I'm your friend, business colleague, mentor, or maybe not mentor because that's a different relationship, right? Like, I might have to help you with that, but I digress. As a friend, we don't want the people around us that are making themselves feel small. No one wants to be around a negative person. And going back to my friend who, the first things out of her mouth was, "Oh no, don't. No one will want me. I'm too old. I'm fat. No one will want me. Don't try to tell any of your male friends and colleagues about me." Okay, well, fine, cool. I won't then. I'm not going to sit there and honestly waste my time pushing. Like, I was about to do you a favor, and I have male colleagues and friends who are eligible, successful, and great human beings. So hey, you know what? Cool. All right. You think you're too old, you think you're too ugly and fat, and you don't want my help in that area, even though every single time we hang out, all you talk about is how lonely you are and how you don't have a man. But when I offer to help you and to take time out of my day, time and mental energy and space to help you and to network with my successful male colleagues and friends, when I'm offering that and your answer is no, well, then you just blocked your own blessing. Then cool. I mean, obviously, then you don't really want it. Like, all right, I'm not going to sit there and go, "No, please let me help you. No, I'm not. I don't have time for that." Okay, cool. You know what? You think that about yourself? You don't want that? Cool. Let's move on. And I changed the subject because I don't want to have to spend a lunch date with a girlfriend sitting there praising her the entire time. Like, that's not fun for me. That's not a fun afternoon. Let's talk about something else. Like, I don't want to hear about how horrible you think you look and how you're old and how, like, I just don't want to. That's stuff that you should be working on with your therapist. And that's just for her, that was the romantic side of it. But if you look at it now, there's actually two sides to the coin, right? Because now, and that's not the first time that she has gone on and on about degrading herself and the conversations about degrading herself. Like, each time I talk to her, I'm going to want to talk to her less. And I've started to notice that I'm not calling her as much, right? Because why? So that I can go to lunch and all we talk about is how horrible, how horrible she feels about herself. It's draining. Like, I want to be around the people where we go to lunch and we talk about how to get this money. I want to go to lunch and we talk about, how we're going to make this year our year. I want to talk about what's the next new travel destination? Like, where's the next networking event? What books are you reading? What did you learn this week? How are we improving ourselves? Even, let's talk about your family, whatever. So she's blocking two sides of the blessings, right? She's blocking, well, now you're not going to have access to any of the men that I know who are single, who are looking, who actually, some of them like curvy women, but I didn't even go into that or tell her that because she already blocked the conversation from the jump. I'm not going to go into, oh, well, actually, I know someone who actually would like you a lot. So blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not wasting my time on that. You already are saying no. You're already so, all right, cool. And she's blocking me wanting to go hang out with her more because now, so you're blocking and you're blocking. And you don't even realize, hey, you know what? You don't know where those relationships might lead. You don't know, but you're blocking all of that by putting other people on a pedestal and degrading yourself. If you look at other people as perfect or superior to you, you're not going to take those actions necessary to go be that person that you want to be or that you could be. It's going to be very hard to fulfill your potential. I mean, can you really just look at it like this? Whatever CEO or celebrity or whoever person, they're not in their day, they're not sitting there thinking, oh, I have X, Y, and Z to do, but I can't because I'm stupid. Because my mom told me I'm stupid. Or whatever it is. And I know that this is a little bit harsh, but as you'll come to know me more and more, I like to keep it real. I think there's way too many people out there who they will not give it to you straight. They will not give you real talk. It's just fluff, and it's not it's not how reality works. I like to live in reality because we live in reality. Another thing I wanted to mention as well for this little episode is giving yourself, being able to forgive yourself for not being perfect so that you can focus on other things. That's a great place to start. Beating yourself up can be addictive, but it's a waste of time. You're wasting your mental energy and space when you could be using that mental energy and time to work on things that are way more productive. So that's a good place to start of how to value yourself. I know it's hard to just go from low self-esteem to suddenly high self-esteem, but that's the one thing that I can say that's a great place to start because that's where I started. The first place I started with this when I realized I was putting other CEOs and other business owners, other celebrities on such a high pedestal. The very first place I started was having a place of forgiveness for myself. Of just, you know what? Okay. Whatever it is, there's a place within me now that I never used to have where I can say, I forgive myself. Maybe I'm not pumping myself up to the sky every single day, but I can at least have a place of just a basic compassion for myself and basic forgiveness. And also, a big reason why I was able to stop putting other people on a pedestal and just realize they're just regular people. Like all these people they're just human beings. They're just regular people, honestly, at the end of the day. Was meeting a lot of my heroes. I've met so many people at this point that, when you actually meet someone that you admire for whatever reason, it's one of the best things in the world. Why? Because when you meet someone, it becomes tangible and you're able to see oh, this is just a regular person. And that basic, demystification of other people really it can really help so much. So, all right, guys, remember to demonstrate excellence and bravery.
The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, investment advice, or medical advice. The host is not a financial advisor nor a medical doctor or licensed therapist. Any financial or medical decisions made based on the information in this podcast are made at the listener's own risk. It is recommended that listeners consult with licensed professionals such as CPAs, financial advisors, and licensed physicians before making any investment or medical decisions. The host and creators of this podcast accept no responsibility or liability for any loss or damages incurred as a result of the information provided in this podcast.